What is up? It's Whitney Bro, and in today's video we're going to be trying out the Beakey Glam Blend Tap Paw Glam Brush. I don't know if that's the actual full name or if they just put those on there to kind of like enhance it a little bit. I have no idea. Either way, we're going to be trying this out. It is a set that came with 5 eye brushes and 5 face brushes. One is kind of could be either or. So it came with 2 beaky sponges. Today's video is going to be focused on the brushes, however. And the brushes, it came with this little insert that explains, because the brushes aren't numbered. That's the only kind of downfall, is I wish they were numbered in some way. But they included photos of the brushes and then a description of what the brush is. 5 face brushes, and the first one that they mention is this one, the powder brush. And to test these out, I feel like I'm going to use them for what they're quote-unquote intended for, to see how that works out. Number 2 is the highlighting brush. And this one's really dense. So to me, it doesn't feel like a highlighting brush. It feels like I'm going to try it for what it's intended for. But I feel like I would much prefer this as like a concealer brush or a setting brush, just because of the density of the bristles. It's not, I typically like a fluffier highlight brush than I do a really dense one. Then the next brush is the foundation brush, which this one looks like a typical kabuki style. First impression, it's a little less dense than I would have hoped, especially for foundation. It kind of gives, like, it gives more than I would want it to. So, but we'll see. We'll give it a chance, because I think I'm going to end up liking the powder brush more for foundation. Oh, I skipped one, is the blush brush. And I think I'm going to end up liking this more for highlight. But we're going to try it. We're going to try her out. And then last but not least, the last face brush, which is this angled. They list it as a contour brush. I think it's a little too big for contour. But again, we're trying everything how it's intended first before deviating from how we use the brushes. The eye brushes, it comes with 5 brushes, technically 6, because this is a double edge one. You get a spoolie and kind of an eyebrow or eyeliner brush, whatever you want to use that for. And then it comes with a fluffy blender, which I have used already, along with a, I'm not telling you what these are meant in here. This one's just called eyeshadow brush. This one is called detail brush. And then this angled one here is called eye smudge brush. I'm looking forward to trying that out, because I've never really used a brush shaped like this before. And then this little guy here, not you, is the concealer brush, which I'm assuming the diagram shows it all around these areas. This one could technically be a face brush. So, and then last but not least is the double-ended. They intend it for eyebrow. Obviously, you can use this for whatever you want to. It could be detail shadow even. But again, we're using everything the way it's intended to be used per this to see. Because if you were a beginner and you didn't know you can use brushes for other things, your instinct would be to follow this. So I'm going to go in with the foundation brush, and we're going to see how it works. So this is after the foundation's applied. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I think the wiggliness of the brush made it a little hard to use as a foundation brush, because the product didn't want to move out of the same spot. So I'd say like maybe like 6 out of 10. We're moving on to the concealer brush. I've never used a brush this small or dense for my concealer, so we shall see. This is working surprisingly well. I don't know why I really didn't expect much of anything, if anything at all. I really like this so far. This brush is kind of redeeming things. I would give this one like an 8 out of 10. I'm going to go ahead and prime my eyes with my Milani eyeshadow primer. I'm going to be using the So Jaded Kathleen Lights and ColourPop collab. And I'm going to try to do kind of a cooler toned look today with this one, and probably the Smoky Quartz or the Fluorite. Just got to let this eye primer sit for 30 seconds and then we'll get on into it. So I'm going in the shade Rose Quartz on the eyeshadow brush, the fluffy one. I'm going to go in with the detail brush and use the shade Stoned. And we're just going to see what that's going to look like. Using that detail brush, I'm going to go into the shade Ametrine and just kind of use it to better blend these two shades. So far for the eye brushes, I have to say these two are my favorite. I would give each of these a 10 out of 10. I think they're a great blending brush and a feathered or tapered blending brush. This one, however, I'd give maybe a 7. I think if it was a little less dense on the edges, you could do more packing and blending. It is a little difficult to get a really good windshield wiper or circle motion blend with this. You basically have to tap. We're going to go into the shade Fluorite, which is this really pretty kind of bluey purpley duochrome. But next up is the contour brush. I'm going to use it for bronzer since that's pretty much in the same wheelhouse. I just don't really contour as a part of my makeup routine anymore, so. And it didn't come with a bronzer brush, so this is going to be the bronzer brush. It does fit nicely right under your cheekbone. Cheekbone? Can't even fucking talk. Under your cheekbone, so I get why they would have labeled it contour. Because it fits nicely right there, but it didn't come with a bronzer brush, so gonna be this one today. Next up is the blush brush, and I'm gonna use my Milani Rose blush. As you can see, it is broken, so I have to be careful with it. Let's see how it applies. For the highlight brush, I'm going to go in with the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Flexitarian. Let's see what this brush does for highlighter. It's not doing much. I don't particularly like this brush for highlighting. I think it's clumsy and too wide. I hate it. I think it has put my highlighter on like doo-doo. Yeah, I gotta go try to salvage this and I'll be right back. So I went ahead off camera and put some of the Ellie Star Lele Posh. I can't fully show you, but it's the shade right here called Mushy, because it's going to fall out of the palette if, like, the whole shade itself. Because I traveled with this, and I don't think I had it in the most secure spot. It didn't ruin, though. It just made it a little bit loose, so I just have to be cognizant of what I'm doing. But I put some of that on my lids, as well as the cheeks, to kind of, since we were going all out with highlighter anyway, I figured may as well, you know, shine it up, you know. And I put some on the lids, and it really made that duochrome shadow pop even more with a different set of like some pink in there as well. And I really like that because I feel like it draws out the purple more. Anyway, I'm rambling. Powder, and I don't really have a whole lot of opinions about it, like, ahead of time, so we're just gonna get right in and see how it works. It seems a little too dense for powder, to be completely honest, but we'll go ahead. Oh, I can already feel it. I would have much preferred this as a foundation brush than a powder brush. Like, it's doing okay as a powder brush. It's doing all right. But I think I will use this as a foundation brush next time around. I'm taking that detailed blending brush and in the shade Ametrine, and I'm just going to go under my eyes with that. It has a nice little slant, so I can get right in under that lash line. That's really nice. We're going to do eyebrows. I can say that I really am impressed with this eyebrow brush. It separates the brow hairs and helps distribute product perfectly. My brow pencil comes with a spoolie, so it's not entirely necessary. But if you are looking for a set with a spoolie in it and a slanted angle brush, this is your girl. Here is the finished look. I kind of went for something cooler toned, more purple leaning. I decided to do a purple lip because why not? It's fun. This is a really great value because it comes with 10 brushes for both face and eye and 2 of their really good Wonder Blender sponges. I definitely think there are some improvements they could make to this set overall to make it even better than it is right now. But for the amount that you're paying, it really, really is worth the amount, especially if you're buying these for someone who's a beginner who wants to get into makeup but maybe doesn't know their brush preferences yet, hasn't used a whole lot of brushes before. I do think this is a great starter set, and I do think there are some hidden gems in here that can be added to any makeup enthusiast collection, whether you're new experimenting with makeup or a long time makeup lover. I just wanted to say thank you so much to Beakey for sending these brushes my way to try out. I knew I already loved the sponges, which is why I did not put them in the video. I will link my short about them up here so you can check out my opinion on those. But like I said, the brushes, overall, I would give the entire brush set together averaged, I would give it 8.5 out of 10 because most of the brushes worked really well for what I wanted them to. The only one I really had trouble with was that one that's supposed to be for highlight, but I do think it would make a fantastic concealer brush. So that's how I intend to use it after I clean it, to see if my opinion on it improves. And if it does, I will definitely update the description box and let you guys know. But that is going to be it for this video. I wanted to do, like I said, a grungier, cooler toned look. I don't do a whole lot of those looks on impulse or just by reflex. It's like I really have to put effort forth because it's kind of unfamiliar territory for me. So I get a little nervous about it because sometimes I've tried cool tone looks and I end up looking atrocious. So if you like the makeup look, if you had fun watching this video, give it a big thumbs up. Thank you so much again for being subscribed. And if you're not subscribed, you're late. Either way, I appreciate you for hanging in there this long, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!